Yeah, a lot of people get this wrong, to be honest, and it's quite dangerous to get this wrong and not to understand this properly. So before we jump to that, we want to also frame the discussion, so that you understand where exactly is the CCR. A lot of people get this wrong, to be honest, and it's quite dangerous to get this wrong and not to understand this properly. I mean, because even if you ask agents, some of the agents also don't know exactly where the CCR line ends. And I'm going to share with you a funny story about this in a later slide. So where exactly is the CCR? So over here is a very good map to use, thanks to Property Guru, right? Why a lot of people get this wrong is because if you go to the URA website, which you would think is the best website, right? The best person to tell you where all these areas are, the answer is not very clear. Okay, so with URA being not very clear, everyone else is a bit blur. But I think this Property Guru chart is perhaps the best chart we can use already. Okay. So, it tends to be broken down into District 9, 10, 11, right? The one no questions asked. You see, here is the tricky part because the CCR also is part of District 1, part of District 2, part of District 4, part of District 6, and part of District 7. So you see, that's why it's very tricky. So, which is why I included the next slide, where it's not considered the CCR. Outram is not considered the CCR. Close to, but not considered the CCR. Clarke Quay is not considered the CCR. Chinatown is also not considered the CCR. Bencoolen, right? And anything basically north of Ophir Road is not considered the CCR. Okay, so your Citygate, Concourse, those areas are not the CCR. Yeah, Midtown Modern is already at the exact line where the CCR cuts. Okay, and so why this is important? Because projects like One Pearl Bank, Riviere, the former Zouk, and CanningHill Piers are not located in the CCR, and this is where funny story is. I guess not funny story, quite a sad story. I had a client who contacted me to ask me about my thoughts about CanningHill Piers after watching our review video, and he actually bought CanningHill Piers at launch, right? Not just one, but 2 units, not knowing that it was not actually located in the CCR. Because when you go into the project launch, this sort of things, right? The agents, especially the agents that are located in the project, they don't tell you that it's not in the CCR. I mean, they are doing their jobs, right? To sell, that is luxury property, right? It is within the city. So it's not wrong to say that CanningHill Piers is within the city, right? Because honestly, this classification sometimes it don't make sense, right? Because Newton is so much further away from Raffles Place, but Newton is CCR. CanningHill Piers is so much nearer to Raffles Place, right? It's not considered the CCR. So sometimes it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me as well, right? And also on this note, I said before, and I'm gonna say it again, when it comes into the resale market, most people they don't really bother whether or not a property is located in the RCR or the OCR, right? They tend to want to buy a property. When they want to buy a property, they say, I want to buy a luxury property, I want to buy a River Valley property, right? I want to buy an Orchard property. They seldom will say, I want to buy an RCR property or a CCR property, right? It's more of a technical term that is used by industry people like agents, right? Developers, maybe URA, or URA likes to use it because they use it for their data purposes. But then again, right, why I put this slide in here is because I guess it's more for consumers just to know exactly what you're buying into, and especially if you're paying for CanningHill Piers on average 3,000 PSF, Riviere quite similar to CanningHill Piers, right? One Pearl Bank. I mean, I'm not saying that these projects are no good, right? They have their own pros, their own value propositions, right? But as a consumer, you shouldn't be buying into them assuming, right, or thinking that they are CCR properties, right? If you're buying into CanningHill Piers because you feel it's an integrated development, is one of its kind in terms of its location beside Clarke Quay, so on and so forth, right? Fair enough, right? But you are not buying it because it's a CCR property. And also, I will also be a little bit cautious because these few properties, they are selling at I would say top of market price points within the vicinity. So you need to understand the exit strategy you're going to adopt when buying these particular projects. Yeah, that is not and you cannot assume that they are in the CCR lah, because they are not. Okay.